Okay, guys, welcome back to the stream. Sorry we started a little bit late. We are going to be watching an ESL covering the Stormgate. Finally, we can get some more footage of the game and actually see how the game runs. So I'm very excited for this. So let's tune in on this channel. Let me just turn it off for you.
TLO did a good job back there. It was impressive to see that surround on the initial
And it looks
group.
like we missed the first fight. I got my time zones a little bit messed up, so I figured my time was going to start at like noon, and it ended up starting at 11, so I do apologize for that. Was planning as covering the first game as well, but yeah, it looks like we're 36 minutes late.
And then, of course, closing it out by having those fiends come in and wipe out the workers. I think it was at the main or the natural?
At the natural
At the
expansion,
natural.
yeah. I think Mana did a great job of really growing his economy, getting a giant army there, some very important moves, and TLO, I
Hopefully
feel like
the
in
quality,
early game, he was
and
maybe
hopefully you guys
outplaying
can
Mana
hear
a
it
little
really
bit,
well
but
as
maybe
well.
His Vulcans were a little bit slow there. He really needs those to help to push back those Gaunts, to push back those Fiends. And we didn't ever end up seeing anything like a med tech, which I'm hoping to see in this next round to help add some sustain to the army of TLO.
Yeah, well, we could go back in that game and look at, shutting down the production facility for the first Hedgehog there. Did slow down TLO quite a bit, and I think that actually
Definitely want to see the
rippled through
Hedgehog
rest of
play
game
a
one.
lot
Didn't seem to have anywhere
more.
near as much
I'm
control.
excited to see what we
Very
can
true.
do with
That's a really
that.
good point.
It seems like Vanguard really wants to leverage Hedgehogs to then get their own map control and tech behind it. But we're going to be going into game 2 in a second here. Now, all these maps are very different, and we'll see if there's a different idea or strategy employed here from TLO.
I like the map though. I've seen some of the stuff earlier on the way from work to today, and the map looks pretty good.
Let's see what map we're on. It's not going to be Secluded Grove.
Yeah, I believe this is Jagged Maw.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting map. Let's talk about the map before we really even get into the players or the strategies here. So this map, I believe inspired by Scrap Station from StarCraft 2. Both players spawn at the right, but they're not close to each other by ground. You basically have to move.
This map looks a little bit foggy.
Through the, your side of the map all the way around to theirs.
Excuse me, guys.
There are these siege camps that you can hit. So, like we saw the vision camps that were hit earlier.
Yeah, the red ones there. You can see a siege camp on either side.
Yep.
Chicken level 2.
If you go ahead and creep these camps, it basically
that's going to
unlocks
be
a
interesting.
catapult, which is going to move towards your opponent. You can't control it. You can mess with its AI a little bit, slow it down, things like that. But it
Hopefully
will
it's
go
loud
for
enough for
a
you guys.
push.
Let me know if
So
it's
that's
not.
a camp that you're really going to want to time out.
Yeah, and if they have a stronger army than you, you basically get it's like a siege tank push, effectively. But this tank is mobile and continuing to move on, and you can be
A lot of people
overpowered in that
complaining
position.
about
So a very
the
cool
art
function.
style of this game,
It
but
does
I don't know,
remind me a
guys.
little
I
bit of
really like
Warcraft
it.
and Heroes of the Storm, and
It
suddenly
looks
these units
different.
spawn
It's
out
like a
and push
mix
the
of
other
Warcraft
side,
and StarCraft.
opponent's
Looks
side of the
smooth
map.
too.
In this game, it does appear that once more we're going to have fast expand plays from both players.
Yeah, that's pretty standard right now within
It's just some
Stormgate.
kind of
This
like a
is kind of
spider
funny to
just
see,
sitting
actually.
there.
This is great micro from
Level 1
TLO.
spider.
He's using his scout to try to maybe steal that creep kill, put some damage onto the Brute, and that allowed the Brute to take a lot more damage from the
Yep,
creep as
here you
well.
go. Brute
So
uses
very
its
nicely done,
ability.
and he does decide
Now remember,
that
this
is the
ability
choice
you
make
can
the
actually
game to
activate
split
it
that Brute
manually
into a couple
yourself
teams and chase
as
away the
a
scout.
commander,
Yeah, the
or
scout,
when the
a
unit
big
dies,
that
it will
people are
automatically
playing
do that
against
later on an
in the
upgrade.
game of Stormgate, you definitely want to try to get rid of that. And so, with
Okay.
that, there will be
All
no
right.
more vision
So
over
two
here on
fiends
this side
can
of the
kill
map
a
for the
scout
time
dog.
being. I
Okay.
don't know if there's going to be any kind of surprising tech here from Mana. It seems like Mana has a pretty good understanding of how
I like
to
those
develop
building
in a safe
animations.
way
Looks like they're
and
summoning
more
out of the
control.
hell. Looks
Yeah,
good.
it does look like he's going for 3 Iron Volts.
Welcome,
at the
guys, to
moment.
the
Again, This
stream.
makes the Brutes, this makes the
Checking out
Magmadons later on
ESL.
when you unlock them. So we should
got
be
Mana
seeing that same
versus
type of
TLO
pressure
playing
that
right now.
killed the mech bay for
Mana
TLO
took the first
earlier
game.
on. But don't forget, because of the way that Jagged Maw is shaped, that travel distance is going to be a little bit longer to get to your opponent.
That's right. We've got the Lancer out now, and this is just some scouting over here from Mana with those fiends here. He'll try to hiccup any bobs he can, whether It's going to be for the Luminite or the Theorem here. Just anything to buy a little bit of
Yeah,
time.
Ethereum, it looks like you can only have 5 workers, and then you
you
got 12 of those Bob's robots that harvest the regular gold. I guess it's like gold, we can say it.
Gets a Bob, but TLO does end up defending that a little bit better. It feels like TLO just with a slightly stronger.
I like the look
opener
of
this
that
game.
shroud,
I
too.
do
The
wanna
shroud
see,
looks,
though, if he
I
can
think,
get
pretty
that
good.
Hedgehog production up high enough to maybe deal a little bit more damage.
Look how many
in that
people
early
tuned in.
mid-game,
4,300
than what we saw
people
in the
tuned
previous
into
map.
this. That's
It
amazing.
would seem to me, I could be wrong, but with Mana going it looks like he'd go for a push pretty early on over here. I think he's going to have a lot of muscle to come out on the map. Now, obviously, you know, Hedgehogs can kite pretty effectively, but I wonder what kind of interaction that would create with the catapult.
Yeah, that's a very good
Command
question.
post only has 1,500 health,
Split off
so
and
that's
set up
a
here. They
good
go ahead
thing
and
to
try
know.
surround that Lancer, but a very quick overcharge
Jagged
on
Maw
these
is the
Bobs
name
going
of
to
this
help
map,
out the
guys, by the
Fiends,
way, if you
going
don't
to pull
know.
back. Again, don't forget they're losing health over time when they're not on Shroud, so they're not going to last forever, and TLO needs to try to outlast them here.
Yeah, nice kill on that Bob. Going to do whatever damage he can. Obviously, the half-life on these Fiends isn't going to last for that long. And so he's just trying to do anything he can to scout, to slow down.
So
development,
Fiends can
anything
live
like that.
longer
He's
when
looking
they
to
in
go
a
for this
shroud.
resource camp. Can he get the kill over here? No, not enough HP on those.
Yeah, it doesn't look like. In fact, that'll soften it up.
Oh,
TLO's going to be able to
yeah.
come over and take that resource camp. Immediately get a little bit of extra Luminite there.
You get
Hey, we've got brute
you get
development
extra
really
40
kicking in now.
Luminite. I wonder how much
Are
of
we
a
gonna
difference
have
it's
an
gonna
attempt
make.
on this siege
That's
camp?
gonna be
It looks like
interesting.
he's, forked the brutes off. He's got 3 down here towards the northern middle, which he turns into Fiends right when they get over there. There's 2 more brutes pushing over here
TLO
on the
going
left side of the
crazy
map.
on
Looks
those
like they're
macro.
gonna go for
You
the
can
vision camp.
see
We've
him.
seen a Hedgehog, I believe, got vision of that and spotted that.
His
Yeah,
hands
he
are
definitely
moving
did
all
end up
over the
seeing that.
place.
Gonna pull it
He's
away.
going
That would take a long time
crazy.
to try to kill 2 brutes with 1 hedgehog. In the meantime, utilizing those smaller trees
There
that
we go.
smaller infantry units can run through with the Fiends, trying to get up here quickly. And you can see, once again, just a small group of Fiends coming in. You know, these probably remind you, if you're a StarCraft player, of like Zerglings, for instance, and just being a nuisance. It's not like something that's going to end the game, but look, he's, you know, killing a Bob here, killing a Lancer there, and they're not that expensive for mana.
No, not at all. And he could basically... oh, I love this. So the Fiends come in there, but then that allows these brutes to come down. Now, he does get a surround on that first brute. And was not able to force
Those
into
Bob
Fiends, so
robots
bit
to
of
get a
little bit of
buff from
control
the
there for Mana.
HQ to give
In a
more
perfect
health, looks
play,
like, and
from Mana's
damage.
perspective, you would let that
That's
brute
pretty
do as
good.
much damage as possible and then split it at the last second.
Yeah.
Just to be clear for everybody watching, you have to manually do that, the Fiend split.
Yes.
That's right.
Until you
And,
get an
these
upgrade later
Fiends
on.
are going to try to get away. They're just so fast, so even the Hedgehog's having a hard time getting over there. Of course,
Yeah,
coming
you can
over here,
upgrade
gonna
your units,
destroy
and I
that,
do like
pushing
that.
camp. But right now, we have Hedgehogs out, but you know, maybe TLO isn't going to push as heavily with these. Maybe he's
Those
deciding
Hedgehog
instead
cars, dude.
to go more quickly
Oh,
into that
boy.
higher tech, get things like the Vulcans out.
They look
I think
like
you're probably right,
RC
Artosis.
cars.
I mean, just having a couple of those Hedgehogs out can create the illusion of that situation, mirroring what we saw.
Barracks
during
out
game one,
1200
but
health.
You're right. He's changing his tech pretty quickly behind this.
Yeah, it
We're
looks
having
like
a lot of barracks is thrown down here, in fact.
Yeah, Biokinetics Lab as well, and no big surprise right there. because
Biokinetics
he
Lab.
does want to get those Lancers out, and the Lancers definitely have some very strong upgrade where whenever they're getting hit, they get a 5% speed bonus. And I mean, that just allows you to really move them around very quickly and close with the enemy in a fight.
Another scout moving over here, this time on the right side of the map. It's been a much more quiet game than the last one.
Yeah.
We had a couple of harassment plays over here.
Oh, there you go.
From Mana getting in there,
Two
getting a
Fiends
Bob
could
here or
definitely
there.
kill the Scout Dog.
TLO's defense has been pretty solid. And
Oh, he's
TLO's
gonna get
tactics in
stuck.
such a different
Oh,
direction
no.
should deliver us into a very different looking mid game here.
Oh, damn.
Right now, it looks like this camp going to be taken down. This is one of those siege camps we were talking about before. So he's going to try to do a push, but it looks like TLO is going for a counterattack right now. So if TLO is on the other side of the map attacking Mana...
That tower does
push
decent
the
amount of
tempo.
damage.
It's basically, you know, a punish here. TLO realizing that Mana is committed to that siege camp. Now he can come down here and
Yeah.
actually do this
Oh, yeah.
counter that's already done some damage. He's now making progress up here.
So Shroud,
into
you could
denying
definitely
money resources. These
spread
ends
your
on the
Shroud
board right
around
now.
This
more
really feels like a very
when
good
you
attack
are
here
building
from TLO.
buildings.
Again,
So you
not
can
as many
basically
Hedgehogs as we
bunker
saw
rush
previously, but he's doing a
your
great
enemy
job with those
to get the
Lancers,
buff to your
putting some
units.
pressure on. And here comes the catapult.
So the catapult, just to remind everybody, you can't control it. It's just going to path its way down. into the base. The way these bases are set up, if they're lining the bottom, if it sees a unit, it will fire. It's not mindless. It's not just going to go and try to hit structures. But this puts a position now where TLO has to address this. Does he try to snipe the catapult? What does he do? He comes in, and the Magmadons go for a very nice stun. The catapult damage connects.
Yeah, and he's actually having some great micro. As you can see, you can dodge these catapult shots. So really well done from TLO. Oh, but the Magmadon just slides in there with the stun. A little bit of a problem. The catapult gets a great hit on all those Lancers to the right, and TLO feels like he has to retreat.
Yeah, TLO realizes
so you can dodge those catapult shots. That's good.
He's gonna have more reinforcements come up. Now, the further the catapult gets down, and closer to TLO's base, the farther away the reinforcements are from Mana.
Oh, so here comes the flying units.
It's going to get deep in enough here that there's a way to recover.
Yeah, the catapult will not be able to shoot the flying units. That's interesting.
These are air units.
He does have the med bot, so he's going to be able to heal his units.
And because nothing shoots up for TLO, he's in a bit of trouble. They're adding a ton of damage right now. There's a huge amount of Lancers.
There you go.
And he's going to go ahead and try his best to push back through all this, but he needs some anti-air for those Spriggans.
The Axes have 150 health. Okay.
Catapult's still here. These shots really accumulating over.
Catapult, I think, does like 70 damage, it said.
The catapult's pretty low. He goes in here first round.
It only has 300 health? I don't know.
As is the catapult.
Yeah,
I don't
takes
know.
That all down, does end up losing a structure, but now you see he is making some exos here as well. You can see with the guns, a pretty solid unit overall. He also
at least the exos can shoot at the air units, so that's good. The Lancers can go fight the ground units, while the exos can shoot the air units.
Is going for more of a bio composition, like. You can almost think of it like a Marine medic zealot, right?
Sure.
We have the med techs for the healing. They also deal a little bit of damage. We have the exos as that ranged attack, as that anti-air, and of course the Lancers as the front line.
I really like the idea of having the Spriggans merge in with the push. I was just
so how are they going to get the speed cam? Okay.
All
right.
Push, but the Spriggans come in
so it's like a field. You got to stand in it.
Here available, the Spriggans have to be careful not to overextend.
Yeah, air units are almost always much weaker than the ground.
It's a 4.5 minute, about 4 minute reset on the camps.
But here against the main push, it might be a little bit harder. But when I say that, look at the size of the army right now from Mana. He's done a great job with his macro this game.
Yeah, it's not clear.
I like the animation of those flying units on Infernals.
Initial stun, TLO beginning to kite back over here. And it looks like he might even be able to wrap around with these brutes. There's one Lancer over here to kind of draw the attention from some of these melee units away. TLO begins to get a stronger fight and now pushing north.
Man, that is a lot of exos right
He's going to hit. Yeah, he's going to kill those workers now. They're running.
As those med techs get up, they can continually heal them.
Damn, he's got a lot of workers.
But, oh, man, a huge amount of fiends being spawned out of those brutes.
That's going to be a big play, I think. That's going to be the brute's going to be big play later on, I think.
Micro back. It looks like there's maybe a narrow path back there, but as the Magmadon comes in here with the stun, the damage continues to pile up.
Not bad. That looks good.
From the Magmadon.
I like it.
That charge really dealing a ton of damage. And even though TLO finds probably the best position to make a favorable trade there, there's just too many.
The siege camp is up.
This is becoming a real.
I'm surprised they didn't go for the siege camp.
A real back and forth over here. We're seeing both players. They've pretty much filled up Mana fills up the entire top of the map. And TLO fills
he
up
doesn't have a lot of workers on, though.
How long can this possibly go on for? There's only so many resources on the map available here. Something's got to give.
Here you go. He's buffing his units with the flying unit. Now, in case you guys didn't know, the flying unit the Doombringer, it drops down and it puts the shroud around them. See, like that.
This is a Doombringer. It's basically like a transport. It can pick units up when it lands and then bring them elsewhere.
And then you give that extra shield to attack. That's going to be amazing, especially later on in the game, too.
It's a really fantastic unit.
It's like instant buff. Look at that. Right into the enemy base.
So quickly, really buffing his army with these units.
You don't even have to bunker rush anymore the enemy. You can just do it with the flying units.
More white health by staying on top.
Weaver has a lot of health. 375, that's huge. That's a lot.
Has to do something to get rid of this. It looks like he's going to fork these fiends off over here and try to do a counterattack similar to what we saw in game one. Maybe going
high side,
over at the second or the third base.
Can look over the rocks and it can look. I don't know if it can look over the trees, so that's going to be interesting to see, guys.
Those gaunts right now. They're trying to infest these units so he can get more fiends as they end up dying. The Weaver adding a surprising amount of damage in here as well.
Here comes the Lancers.
Okay, the damage beginning to really pile up here. If TLO can hold this and survive this attack, back. I don't know that he's going to be able to defend the bases that are behind this. This
Come
could
on.
be a 2-0.
Yeah, it really looks like it right now. That Magma Dawn charging in, doing a great job.
Yeah, they're
of
best
pushing
2 out of 3
everything back.
guys.
And now this
Mana already
area is
took 1
becoming
win.
Mana's. He is starting to destroy these expansions. TLO needs to make a stand here. If he loses these bottom left bases,
Yeah, I think Mana got
there's
this
much
one.
chance of
Those
him winning
fiends,
this game.
dude, they're
That's right.
brutal.
The Bobs, they've been overcharged now here. They're going to try to defend. I just
Yeah,
don't
overcharged
see
from the
a
HQ,
real
guys.
opportunity here for TLO
Your
to
Bob
overpower
soldiers,
in
your
this
workers,
situation.
they end up
Got
getting
some more
buffed.
Lancers coming up. Mana
It's
now
pretty
might
good for
trade
defending
away,
a
but
base,
so many
especially
workers
early
have been
on.
dropped now. That's going to really stifle the amount of resources that can come in next.
Man, this is just a great attack, a great rallying coming in here from Mana as well. TLO continues to pump out units. He's trying to break through, but you can see the Fiend production here is amazing between infesting, the fact that you have these brutes that turn into Fiends as well. It's just a ton of units that you have to deal with.
Yeah, it's a lot. We've got the push continuing to come back over here as we're seeing everything fall apart. He's basically deep into the infrastructure right now for TLO. With the infrastructure spread out like this, you start to lose those buildings. You can't produce as much. Sometimes units pop out, get isolated, and killed immediately.
Yeah, and you can see as he brings the Magmadons in as well, it's too much. GG is
There we
called,
go.
and that is going to be it. Mana takes down TLO 2-0 here with the Infernals.
A really impressive showing here from Mana. Now, everybody, we're just getting started. Mana will now go on to face off against Moon.
Here we
Moon,
go.
Of course, the most legendary player ever from Warcraft 3. We've got a quick trailer for you guys, and after that, we're going to be
A new
going to the
trailer?
stage. Don't go away.
I hope so. Uh-oh. Who do we, hey, I won! The song we won the bet. Yeah, we've already seen this trailer. It's a good trailer. See Malio in it too, as voicing Wars. Oh yeah, excited, dude.
It is too late, my friend.
Very pumped, guys.
In God's name have we done?
Меня не слышно? Ща, извини. Алло, алло. Да, вроде нормально, вроде бы должно. А, норм? Окей. Да, наверное, слишком громко сделал стрим.
What a way to start off the
Как сейчас,
conversation.
нормально?
Congratulations, Mana, and thank you, TLO. We are going to take a closer look at those games. We've got our Tosis on the stage, and we are joined by Kevin Dong, aka Montreal
задержка с картинкой,
RTS
да,
head,
бывает.
who is our lead competitive designer at Frost Giant for Stormgate. So, gentlemen, why don't you talk about what you saw today?
I tell you, that was really impressive. More units being used than I actually anticipated. for
откуда?
being
С
so
Америки.
early in a closed beta. What
Слышно
did you
норм?
think?
Окей.
Yeah, I was really impressed by both the number of types of units
Да,
that
с
were
Америки
used, but
стримлю.
also how dynamic the games were. A lot of back and forth.
Обычно стримы на
especially
английском,
with,
так
with
что
Mana
если
poking
если
in a
надо
lot
на
with
русском, то
fiends,
можно,
with
да.
brutes all over the map in both games. And on the opposite side, TLO was poking in with his hedgehog. So a lot of players going back and forth on the map.
Yeah, I understand you have some clips for us to take a look at.
I have very carefully chosen some choice clips.
Откуда
so
русский
roll with the
знаю?
first clip.
Жил с Украины. Папа русский, мама
All
украинка.
right, in this clip we see that Mana is poking with the 3 brutes who can have the opportunity to transform into fiends. They split themselves and become much more, I wouldn't say powerful, but they do a lot more DPS at the cost of durability.
Да, сам с Украины жил, на Украине жили раньше.
He's baited a lot of Bob overcharges,
Когда малым мы
which
переехали.
is a defensive mechanic for Vanguard.
А, понятно.
But the
Нормально.
command post is going to
А мне мой папа с
which
Санкт-Петербурга.
means that the workers can't really help that much at defending. So he's going to deal a good amount of
Они
damage early on.
переехали,
Yeah, I really like this pressure
когда
that
еще
he's
Советский
doing
Союз
early
был.
on here, and of course he's only cost Luminite as well, the brutes, so very easy to manage making these. One thing that Taste and I were talking about a lot, that mech bay going down really seemed to affect the rest of the game.
Yeah, totally. It totally affected the pace of the game. Usually, you want a lot of hedgehogs to give you map control in order to scout what your opponent is doing, in order to see, oh, when are they transitioning, so they can, so that the Vanguard.
I really like that hedgehog.
Can actually fight
Hedgehog is pretty good.
Hordes of brutes, fiends, gaunts, and later.
Ежи эти машины нормальные.
Yeah, and one thing I did want to mention here as well, the actual mech bay itself is probably not positioned correctly, and this is like one of the tenets of RTS games, and it's great to see that already in use this early by these StarCraft pros, right? Where that building is a little bit out of position, and that may have been what trickled down to a TLO loss this game. If that had been, for instance, where the habitat is, and the habitat was in the other spot, he may have been able to repair it, keep it alive, get more hedgehogs. Little things really build into big things in RTS games.
Yeah, brilliant observation.
StarCraft 2 играю, да, играл. Я раньше очень давно играл, и намного играл раньше, но сейчас как-то обратно пытаюсь вернуться в стратегии. Эта игра очень привлекла меня. Поэтому ждем ее выпуска. Мы уже дали им деньги на Kickstarter, так что ждем летом.
All right, and here we see some of the creep camps that are being fought over. Chickens, of course, are a place.
Да, Warcraft играл,
в
Red Alert играл тоже, да, все старые игры играл. StarCraft 1, 2 играл тоже.
Actually stole both chickens in this clip with his very mobile hedgehogs. He's going to get the money.
This
from
chicken
there.
is
Unfortunately,
OP.
He's not going to get the residual effect, which
Курица
is the
атакует
division
всех
tower
здесь.
there. But still, he gains 75 Luminite, and he denies it from his opponent.
Level 2 chicken.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you know what I like about seeing this scene? It's almost as if, of course, your whole team, many of the people on your team have worked at Blizzard over the years, and it feels like you're
Когда начал стримить? Да где-то месяц назад начал. Я в Силику играю тоже, видео на Ютубе делаю. В основном все на английском, но если надо будет, то можно будем сделать и на русском, и на украинском. На многих языках можем делать.
We can see here that both players, because they're fighting for these creep camps, they see exactly what their opponent's unit composition is, and therefore they are kind of like.
Да, я в Индии игры играю тоже много. Люблю такие стратегии.
Yeah, and one more thing, the hedgehogs, you know, it just seems like they're very strong right now. You know, how fast they are, how they can just kind of lock on and kill something off very quickly. But I love seeing the counterplay that Infernals have here as well with the Magmadon, right? Charging in, getting that stun, and doing a little bit
Я
of
буду много
punishment,
видео
because I feel
делать
like
по
that's
этой
really
игре.
important for a healthy RTS,
Stormgate.
is that you're not always taking damage. You have
Так что
some
если
counterplay.
надо будет сделать на русском языке, ты мне скажи. Я буду переводить. Я буду все делать на русском и английском тоже.
If you're familiar with that, then you can actually dodge the charge as well. So a lot of dynamic back and forth that we're hoping for.
All right, excellent clip here. Let's go ahead and see the next one.
Какую расу? Да, я люблю это зергов.
The first big fights, there's going to be a push with these gaunts, with a single.
Поэтому мне нравится Infernals. Это они будут как же и зерги, получается. Да все здесь говорят, что никому не нравится ихний дизайн и графика, как бы. Как мультик выглядит. Ну, арт-машинка в этих ежи, которые ездят вот там, они же не доделаны это все. Это все еще... Они говорят, что там шейдеров надо будет много сделать еще. Она яркая очень, много цветов. Мне кажется, поэтому люди, которые любят StarCraft, им не нравится эта игра, мне кажется. На лол напоминает, да. Получается, сделали the League of Legends. Стратегию и лол смешали вместе, только тут надо теперь здания строить и армии строить.
Yeah, and another thing to point out is you had mentioned SimCity before. The buzzsaw cannon was actually placed in a position.
Да, если видишь, что эти машины, они вообще не доделанные. У них цветов даже, у них анимация почти нету там. Ракеты полностью сейчас пропадают.
And I think this is one of the final fights. Mana is putting up a shroud stone in a
Мне карты нравятся.
so that his units can regenerate.
Деревья можно сбивать тоже большими юнитами своими.
TLO is trying to push out.
Они могут прямо через деревья пробежать и сломать эти деревья и атаковать базу.
He's really a little higher tech
Прикольно.
than TLO, but in addition to that, he's using some of his global abilities, like he's able to.
В этой игре ресурсы это что? Да там два типа ресурсов есть. Ну, получается, как газ и кристальный, знаешь, есть в Старкрафте. То же самое здесь. Золото и там еще эфириум. Второй ресурс называется эфириум, или что-то типа такого.
You kill your opponent's units, and they create fiends. And anytime any unit dies on the battlefield, you actually get a global resource called Animus, which you can use for these global.
The Vision Camp. I wonder what the Vision Camp is gonna do.
Yeah, very, very useful as you can see, and of course that infest very popular right now to be able to get out all these fiends.
This is pretty much like League of Legends.
See if we had a med tech with Nano Swarm at that point to help heal up the Vulcans, because the Vulcans do seem like they are a very important counter against these fiend-heavy plays.
Exactly. Typically, this kind of.
Как думаешь, конкуренция будет для старика? Да нет, нормально. Они сказали, что не будет очень трудно играть. У них слишком... Они унизили пол начальства для игры, чтобы, получается, такие обычные люди, которые играют в игру, смогли тоже и поучаствовать и посоревноваться с профессиональными. Так что будет нормально, мне кажется. Ну, как говорится, кто знает, знаешь, они начнут делать все разные такие стратегии здесь, где, знаешь, как говорится, одна стратегия будет лучше другой, чтобы победить. Так что мы увидим, когда игра выйдет летом, мы посмотрим. В зависимости, как они будут делать все эти юнитов, они балансом, как они будут.
And the Spriggans were doing a great job as well.
Yeah, we're watching a replay of the second game, guys.
Yeah, exactly. TLO was super focused on Lancer Vulcan. That's one of the strongest compositions you could make against this ground army. But he just didn't have any answer to the Spriggans. Usually you
Будет шок, если на хайпанет, как старик. Да, там компания, у них получается компания, которая можно... У них 5 лет истории там будет. Они сделали компанию, которая им хватит на 5 лет, уже сказали. Каждую, там 3 расы будет, сказали, и, короче, компания будет долгая, они сказали. Это же бесплатная игра тоже. Free to play. И, короче, сказали, что там будет 3 игрока компания против компьютера можно будет делать тоже. И там много других этих модов будет. Или 4 или 5 модов они уже сказали будут.
Yeah, I love that move as well. You know, the fact that his scout was actually in there, seeing the timing of that siege camp, allows him to come up here, deal some damage, take out a Shroud Stone, you know, just be a bit of a nuisance.
Сказали, что компания будет как в StarCraft 2. Они по часам их будут выпускать.
And we're going to see the results of that, I think, in the next clip.
All right, let's jump into that next clip. And yeah, the catapult really showing a lot of damage here.
Yeah, so
that catapult does a lot of damage.
The catapult, I think what new players
Катапульта делает очень много.
There's a catapult. Let me just build up
О, смотри, сколько.
What you can actually do, the catapult, it takes a long time to shoot, and
слишком
you can actually
не быстро это, не быстро стреляет.
The shots of the catapult, and you can
Он убегает их, смотри, он в сторону убегает. Он даже не может попасть.
In that time, you can counter the catapult. So TLO, I don't think he actually necessarily wants to win this fight. Ideally, he would want to pick up the catapult, but he doesn't really have the units for that.
Катапульта делает 70 дамаги.
Or maybe some scouts to cut the catapult off. But he's buying a ton of time for some sentry posts back home. Maybe he's going to build some Vulcans back home in order to defend these hordes of.
Yeah, I love some of this micro as well, utilizing that Lancer upgrade where they get the speed boost when they're being attacked. You could see he could pull out just in time.
Да, они много сделали трейлеров для компании, мне нравится, интересно будет. Много заставок будет тоже, история хорошая выглядит.
There's still maybe a bit more he could do there, but yeah, just awesome. Awesome thoughts from TLO. I really loved the way he just microed, especially his Lancers throughout this entire series.
Yeah, very, very cool with that push. Let's go ahead and jump into our next clip here.
I really like these flying units. I can't wait to see more of them.
Mana is actually reinforcing with Spriggans this time. Spriggans actually have an ability where every time they attack anything, the thing that they attack will lose.
The Reese's camp doesn't seem like gives a lot of resources. 40, that's not a lot. Не слишком много ресурсов дает этот ресурс camp.
Which helps you defend versus the catapult. But TL just charges in, goes for the catapult. I think he's going to snipe off the catapult. But now, like you pointed out, he doesn't really have the anti-air.
Yeah, he was very, very Lancer heavy here, getting into medtechs and everything, but did get into exos. Another thing to mention.
Мне кажется, надо будет строить половина людей anti-air, и вторая половина должна на земле воевать. Got to balance the teams by having anti-air and the anti-ground units as well.
In the closed beta, but just brilliant use of it from Mana.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our next clip here.
And right now, one thing I noticed was that TLO went really exo heavy after that push, and I wonder if he overcommitted to exos probably. And I think Mana saw that. Usually you would want mostly brutes in this army, but I think he saw, oh, you're very Lancer weak, which is or Lancer light, which is the counter.
Magmadon in charge. That was crazy. He killed a lot of the units like that.
Brutes here. I think Fiends would be a better solution. So I like that as Infernals you can really.
The Magmadon, он просто в них врезался и через них прямо переехал.
I think he was actually doing really well in the previous fight before this, but he kind of just got cornered.
Really like this shroud mechanics.
Knew the terrain that well.
Instant buff to the units.
Lost his entire army there, but yeah, I just love the.
Here comes the Magmadon again. Watch this. Watch the Magmadon charge.
Yeah, and I even liked him pulling back here. And I mean,
dude, he killed like half of his units. Половина людей убил этим Магмаданом, когда он через них прямо переехал.
We've seen such strong plays out of Mana. It really does feel like you need to dedicate some sort of splash damage, some sort of area of effect damage to take those out.
Yes, common choices are, of course, the Vulcan, which we've seen a lot throughout this entire series. Also, the Atlas is a unit that deals a lot of damage in a very large AoE. Players haven't been opting for that as much.
That's crazy. Watch the thing again.
But we might see it in a future match.
Yeah, hoping to see it. Let's go to our next clip now.
All right, now we see another push from.
I really like that flying unit.
It's not going to be the end necessarily, but it's going to be the beginning of
the end. Летающий этот юнит, он шраud дает им, как Зерга в землю, как бы. Я уже забыл даже слово на русском.
Their white health very quickly. So yeah, we see TLO, I think, barely hold this because he has the defender's advantage, of course. He's also going to have some flak turrets, which are exos in the center. Those are very powerful. We see the Weaver kind of grab a exo over to him. Get over here. And then we see hordes of reinforcing units over and over again. The flak cannons are doing a ton of damage, and I think it's just like a kind of a war of attrition where Mana's economy is just slightly better. TLO, I think, just got this base, so he didn't.
Оставлю пока стрим на АФК, пусть будет постоянный зритель. Ну, спасибо большое, спасибо, что вы остановились и посмотрели. Мне приятно. В радугу подыграть. Удачи. Спасибо.
Also, like with the exos, we saw good micro, but maybe not placed perfectly against the Magmadons.
Да, будем видео много делать на эту игру. У нас маленький YouTube канал, но он нормально будет. Мы это для удовольствия делаем, не для денег.
Every time you attack me, I get faster and I attack faster. So maybe later on in the development of Stormgate, we see players say, oh, maybe I just don't want to attack these Lancers as much as possible, go into the back line in order to hit those juicy exos instead.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff. Let's go. Do you have any more clips here?
I think there's just the final clip where the game kind of ends, but that's more of like a closer. I would say nothing.
Спасибо большое.
There's a final overcharge. I think this is the Vanguard version of the scans all over the map.
Да, если не на английском, то скажи, я буду делать на русском тоже. Я не знаю, сколько людей на русском будут эту игру, знаешь, как бы говорить об этом. Но я обычно буду все новости записывать и разговаривать о новостях и новые апдейты, которые я буду выпускать для игры.
and we don't even have tier 3 here yet, but we're still having very exciting endgames.
Oh yeah, the games like I think Mana and TLO have done a really great job of like showcasing what this game can be, and just like how the unit compositions can be very different. The back and forth with the creep camps and just the back and forth overall, really great games. I'm excited even more for what Moon can put up against them.
Exciting games and very exciting with you guys casting.
А там перевести, если что, можно благодаря Яндексу, так как тебе по кайфу.
And this is not the last you will see of Artosis, but may I send you to the
А, повторяется? Сейчас, подожди, наверное, я звук где-то
stick
включил.
around because we took a look at some of the 1v1 action that's coming up in Stormgate, but we have a bit more to talk about because Stormgate is more than just 1v1. So Kevin Dung, aka Monk, you have
Да, мне надо будет немного сделать.
for Stormgate, but you have a long history in this space. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Это же я первый раз это делаю.
Really began when I started posting on Team
Мы еще учимся.
I was started as a lowly poster, but I started writing a lot of strategy guides. I volunteered to help with moderation, and from there, I was offered a job at Team Liquid where I was project managing a lot of the early Team Liquid days back when I was just a
Это слишком крутое дело. Надо еще больше учиться.
From then on, I moved on to become the lead.
А что повторяется? Стрим повторяется или видео повторяется?
Where I worked primarily on the cooperative mode, but also on the competitive mode. And from then on, I moved to Frostshine, where I work on Stormgate very happily as the primary competitive designer, but I also work on the...
У меня ничего не включено, кроме видео, которое показывается сейчас. Не знаю, что повторяется.
Yeah, let's get into co-op a little bit. You've got the 3VE that you're focusing on now. Tell me why you think it's important to focus on that, what you're excited about with it.
Yeah, I think there's a really large audience of RTS players
Прямо сейчас повторяется?
the power fantasy of building this huge army, sending it across the map and just rolling their opponents with that army. And I think this infinitely replayable mode that we've developed in 3VE Stormgate co-op, it kind of fulfills that fantasy.
Well, you mentioned your history at Blizzard, a lot of work on the competitive, on the co-op there. How does that inform what you're doing here at Frostshine?
Yeah, honestly we learned a lot of lessons while developing co-op on the StarCraft.
Сейчас вроде норм. А мне кажется, раньше я включил стрим на втором скрине. И, наверное, она записывала второй звук. Типа 2 канала включил одновременно. Надеюсь, что сейчас будет норм.
So every year on the team, we figured out, oh, what's the next best thing we can give to the players? What's the next best building block we can give to them? And honestly, like taking a look back at it, I think we did a pretty good job. But
a lot of people watching this. That's good.
Many years of development. When you take a look back, because every year we added one thing, the end product was not as cohesive as it could have been. There were many just staggered building blocks on
Вебка с голосом у тебя не синхронизирует.
So at Stormgate, where we've taken a lot of lessons we learned there, and
да, не знаю, мне, наверное, будет надо офстрима надо будет поиграть с этим, посмотреть.
We can look at it from the whole picture. And I think how I would best put it is that I think it's really much easier to hit a target if you know exactly.
Here comes Asmongold.
Well, that's really exciting. You've had all these opportunities to iterate. You have seen what the fans have been very interested in, and you yourself, as a fan, have brought a lot of your own experiences to it. So, with all that,
когда этот стрим закончится, я потом посмотрю тоже записи свои, посмотрю, в чем была проблема. Я все время ревью свои записки.
Customization, and then finally the team.
А вот смотри, вот эта игра, которая будет три игрока против компьютера смогут играть, типа отдельная кампания.
So we're still going to have that in Stormgate co-op, but in addition to that, we're going to have lots of variations on where these attack waves are going to come from. And in addition to that, we're going to have variation on a map-to-map basis. So every map is going to have something a little different, and every time you play it, it's going to feel very different. In addition, we're also obviously going to be continually developing maps. So yeah, every few months you can look to an exciting new hero. You can look to an exciting.
Наверное, не такая по масштабам, как StarCraft. Не знаю, мы посмотрим. У них еще до лета. Еще игра даже не выходит пока до лета. Они в следующем месяце будут выпускать открытую бета, так что посмотрим. Когда нам ключики дадут поиграть в игру, мы посмотрим, как она будет там. На следующей неделе, на следующем месяце можем играть. О, да, да. Много. Там полно будет синематики.
But also, in addition to that, we want you to, just play exactly how you want. And then finally is the team aspect. We want you to, it's a 3v game mode rather than a 2v game mode in StarCraft. So we want you to really feel like you're part of the team. We want to make cooperation feel good. We want to say, hey, I used my heal on my ally. Oh, I'm really appreciative of that heal, Rachel. Thank you.
3 на 3 обещает мод тоже. Будет интересно.
Okay, you're that player. You're the DPS player. I got that. So maybe I can heal you instead.
I would appreciate that as well. But I love 3. A 3-legged stool never wobbles.
Yeah, exactly. And part of the thing we can do there is that by expanding to a 3v mode, we allow it to bring even more friends in, and we can also split you in many different ways. You, as a team, you can choose.
Как ты умел слева от азиата?
Or you can choose to be lone wolves and go 1-1-1, complete the map in 3 separate lanes, perhaps. Or you can go some combination of 2 and 1. The choice is really yours.
A lot of opportunities out there, and I know
Именно, наверное, уже показывал, я пропустил.
Going to explore all of them as soon as they can get their hands on it. Any last words you want to say about what's to come, what you're excited for, or who you're excited to see play?
Well, I think I'm most excited about our next guest, who not only is my current coworker, but he also worked with me a long time ago back on the Team Liquid days, back when we were just a couple of guys in a room.
Well, that's a great setup. So thank you so much, Monk, for coming out, for sharing your experiences, and of course, giving us a little taste of what's to come in 3VE. And you did do a wonderful job also of welcoming our next guest to the stage. This is Heyoka. We've got Matt Weber. He is the senior production manager for Stormgate, bringing a lot of experience to bear, as Monk shouted out, as well as a lot of new thoughts from all the different places that you've been working in. Matt, it's a pleasure to have you here on the stage. Why don't you tell the people a little bit more about your background, your history in RTS?
Hello. Oh, wow. It's very exciting here. This is actually a little bit emotional for me. I worked for DreamHack for many years.
Matt Weber product.
I ran every StarCraft tournament DreamHack did between, 2017 and 2021. I was one of the people that founded the initial.
Да, их студии очень-очень хотят, чтобы эта игра как StarCraft был. Чтобы профессионалы все время играли. Мы посмотрим, как это будет. Когда летом выйдет, тогда все сразу узнают, хорошая или плохая игра. В Нью-Йорке.
Esports is really just all about facilitating cool stuff. I don't want us to be really setting a strict structure.
Ну, слышь, как говорится, когда StarCraft вышел, второй особенно, то тоже все до него начали срать сразу. Всем не нравилось, и они чинили, ну, дочинили.
For me, my background, like Kevin mentioned, is that Team Liquid.
Мы посмотрим.
The thing that made me really fall in love with esports was the community aspect.
Много обещаний, но мы увидим. Не слишком много людей есть возможность играть в эту игру сейчас. Они только профессионалам дали ключи.
These are the people I want to hang out with, and I'd like to facilitate that for everyone else. And that's kind of the way we're approaching esports. Is something similar to that.
Yeah, I think Frost Giant's overall philosophy on Stormgate Esports is very interesting, and it speaks to your background in the grassroots scenes of what built these RTS games that we love.
Первым или вторым?
Into a game that has weathered time is the deep roots that were allowed to set early on. So what are you guys doing for that?
Yeah, I mean, for us, first and foremost, we're looking to just make a really fun game.
Даже Warcraft 3 сейчас никто не играет.
I produced our Kickstarter, I produced a lot of the UI. I do some production.
Первый для своих лет еще норм. Ну да.
But in parallel, we're planning for a
Они же
future
переделали
to have
первый тоже, да?
competition.
Обновили
And the general goal
графику.
for us is, you know, when a game is good, it tends to be fun to watch. We've been pretty happy with the results, which is why we're here. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised at how good the game was to watch, even in an early state. It's really, to the
good, guys, right?
designers' credit. Yeah, see? Oh, great. That was good.
I asked quietly, but they
Yes,
were
thank
quick
you.
to enthuse.
Yes, very
Thanks,
good.
guys.
But yeah, that's just sort of the goal. Is we'd like something that's cool, something that's fun, and we want to be there to help make it happen. We want to empower people. I want to support people. I mean, I can't really even stop people from doing tournaments. As soon as we had a pre-alpha, people were doing competitions.
На Ютубе 2К она недавно видел онлайн, было по первому. Ну да. Да, людям нравятся старые игры. Я в Red Alert 2 играю тоже все время. Это тоже старая игра. Как StarCraft. Даже в онлайне там много людей играет в Red Alert 2.
Yeah, a wide and strong base is going to build for a very tall and incredible and long-lasting future. I do love that you're putting that effort into building that community, and players turn into viewers as well. And viewers love to watch competition at the highest level. So tell me, Hyogo, what's going on with the top tier esports?
The top tier, well, for the next couple of months, you're going to see a little bit more play from our closed beta. We're going to let people stream some events, even though we're still in closed beta.
A lot of talking.
Next year, we're going to go into early access.
Not a whole lot of new
In the fall,
information.
then, we'd like to sanction some events.
Не слишком много информации они выпускают об игре. Только видео новые показывают, это все.
First real Stormgate Championship, a live event, have a real prize pool, and really just celebrate the first couple of months of the game.
That sounds incredible. It sounds like you've got a lot of future players.
Что в США популярно? Да, там не слишком здесь немного людей играют в стратегии. Да, Warzone, Call of Duty, да.
Are you collecting
Fortnite.
them somewhere? Do we send them somewhere? Do you have a personal email you want to hand out?
Yeah, I mean, I think. Oh, I don't even know what email to do, but I think if you look on our website, our
Да,
press
в шутеры все
contact is
здесь
probably the best
играют.
place to send us.
Некоторые люди
I'm trying to
Counter-Strike
talk
все
to
еще
all the
играют.
community members, make sure we know who wants to
Но
do things.
Counter-Strike здесь
Really
не
reach
так
out
уж
to us. We wanna
популярный,
work with
как
people.
у нас он
Just
был.
help build a really cool
Я все еще
community and let
помню,
people
когда
do
я
super fun
школу
things.
прогуливал, чтобы
Thank you so
идти
much, Matt,
в
for coming up to talk
интернет-кафешку
to
и
us.
играть в
I know
Counter-Strike.
the future of Stormgate competitive is in great hands. So I'm gonna let
Да,
you go
здесь
back and
здесь
actually
все обычно в
watch
Call of
our
Duty
next
играют.
competition. We're gonna get set up because we have the finals of our Stormgate showdown about to go down here on stage.
Here we go, one more
Incredible players.
last
We've got
game.
Moon and Mana, who just took out TLO,
Еще
and they are ready
еще одна игра
to put
осталась
on
здесь.
the highest level Stormgate competition thus far. Let's check it out.
All right, everybody, let's
Mana versus Moon.
It is Moon versus Mana here in the first ever Stormgate.
Mana выиграл две игры.
Mana
And Moon, он же Warcraft 3 играет.
He started playing and competing in StarCraft at a very young age, and of course Moon, the greatest Warcraft 3 player of all time. These two duking it out now in a game that takes the best of StarCraft and the best of Warcraft, puts it together. Let's find out who comes out on top, Artosis.
It's going to be an exciting one here. You know, Mana, a legend from StarCraft 2, and Moon being the greatest of all time from Warcraft 3. Can't really ask for a better match than this. It's going to be Infernals against Infernals. That bottom left, purple Infernal is Moon, and the top right
Единственный
is
аплют
Mana.
комьюнити
This
SK2
is gonna be
это Европа.
such a
Ну да.
crazy match here. This map, a very different one. They are
И в
both
Японии тоже, да, в Азии
massive
много
base
играет.
builds. There are creeps on this map. Some are in the middle, some are a little bit further out of the way. It is a
Много
very
китайцев
winding map, and there's a lot of
играет
different ways
в
to counterattack
StarCraft
and
тоже,
move
я
around,
видел.
so having map presence and map vision is going to be key.
Yeah, and already we
Two
see
Infernos
maybe
are
a
fighting
little
each
bit
other.
of a
That's gonna be
difference
interesting.
Between the two players, two Iron Vaults going down there for Moon. You know, right now, as far as Infernal versus Infernal, Fiends are very, very strong. And Gaunts with that infest
those Fiends
ability
is
to
gonna
make
be
more
crazy.
Fiends is very, very strong. So I wouldn't
Really
be
like the
surprised
building design.
if we see just a lot of Fiends.
Мне нравится, как
going on
эти
both
здания
sides.
строятся.
There's one function we haven't really discussed yet. We didn't really have time in the last
Ну
series
да,
because
радугой
the game
Лолу.
picked
Ну,
up
обычно
so fast.
StarCraft они
There
тоже
is
играют.
Animus
Много
that
в
is selected,
StarCraft. Не
over
Warcraft, а
units
StarCraft,
are killed,
особенно
and that
второй.
is only for Infernals, but in an Infernal
Я раньше в
versus
школе
Infernal match,
все время
you're both gonna
японцев
get
видел,
Animus,
играют в
but it would
StarCraft.
seem like whoever could pick up the most more quickly is going to have a lot of positional advantages here to try to activate a lot of those abilities you can use with that.
Yeah, and if you have a lot of Fiends dying all game and turning into Fiends for your opponent and things like this, you're going to get a lot of Animus. We might see those Shroud Stones really come into play as a huge focal point of power.
And it is possible if you get enough Animus to unlock a Dragon, which is an extremely powerful unit. We'll see if that comes into play here, but just keep that in the back of your minds. If this game does drag out, I would imagine
Сколько раз в Stormgate? Сейчас мы знаем о 2, и когда игра выйдет, там будет 3. И они сказали, что они не будут там останавливаться, они еще будут позже делать много раз. Скорее всего, мы получим еще две расы после выпуска игры. Третья раса, говорят, будет как ангелы, типа. Потому что вот это Infernals, они как бы демоны, а потом у нас люди, и третья будет такая высокая раса, как ангелы, типа, сказали. Скорее всего, то, что мы видели.
We've got mana all the way down, out of position here, so Moon able to generate some threats. Is he going to commit? It does seem like with the three brutes.
СК2 уже напрягся, да. Но они же тоже сейчас не платная, а СК2, она не платная игра. Раньше была платная, а эти люди сразу будут делать ее бесплатную.
And he's going to go ahead and chase
Будет
that, but that means
интересно.
the 2 brutes in the main base could deal some extra damage.
Yeah, he wants to basically go for a worker harass here. He's going to die.
Yeah, look at all those workers. All these workers are going to die right now, too.
They could just come through here
Oh,
and
man.
workers. That's going to force Mata to then change his brutes into fiends here.
Yeah, a lot of brutes, a lot of fiends fighting right now. You can see just battling all over the place and splitting into those fiends when they need to. The Fellhogs being pretty useful as well as a defensive deterrent.
Nice.
A really crazy game to start this off. It looks like a lot of these imps are taking damage. Some are even getting killed off over here. And, you know, Moon, he was known to have by far the best micro on Warcraft 3. And we're kind of seeing that on display here in Stormgate. He was a guy who would pick fights that many other Warcraft 3 pros would never dare go into and oftentimes come out on top.
Yeah, but, you know, he is fighting over here on his opponent's Shroud, which means we get that additional white health for Mana's unit. So even though he's keeping a lot of pressure on, I feel like he's not really making that much progress with these attacks.
I wonder if the enemy units can gain buff on the another player's Shroud. That's going to be interesting.
Coming up and the Fiends being pushed back a little bit. That meat farm having to walk around it right now. A Shroud Stone going down. So he is looking for a little bit more static defense. We're going to see if that works out for him as Moon just rallying brutes across the map non-stop here.
Artosis has got to be his game. We know that. I
Oh
can't
boy.
explain it.
Here we
He's
go.
coming through and doing so much damage. I don't really, I didn't expect any games to possibly be, you know, snowballing this quickly, but Moon is doing so much damage here. It seems like he's just able to eke out.
Yeah, Moon might win this one. I mean, I hope he wins.
Into the 2 fiends, microing back perfectly.
Надеюсь, что Moon выиграет.
Really on here for Mana.
And denying those Shroud Stones is huge. They deal a lot of damage. They're great static defense, and you can start casting
Moon is
spells.
very aggressive right now.
Animus already in play here.
That's right. It's really building up because this game has been such a bloodbath. It looks like for the time being, Mana may be able to force us back. The question is, as more and more brutes come in, can Moon keep the pressure on?
Well, he's certainly trying to. The Fiend's getting cleaned up in that main base. Looks like he turns around for now. He has some very damaged brutes right there. And yeah, let's take a look at what else is going on this map. Do we have additional expansions? Do we have some additional tech? It really looks like it's mostly that production of the brutes and maybe a little bit of expanding going on as well there for Moon.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Moon with that base down there at 6 o'clock. Can we get a check over at the far center right? Is there actually a base over there?
Yeah, I think Mana is expanding to the right side of the map right now as well.
There we go. Okay, I wanted to confirm how much is there. Only 3 workers there mining for now.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit more there for Mana at 6 o'clock.
You'll have to build that up a little bit.
No.
You see he has put down the meat farm there to try to defend a little bit of Shroud Stone as well.
Не знаю, что он
That
пытался
base
там
is
сделать.
kind of far away from everything else, so I like the fact that he's putting down some static defense to just dissuade Moon from harassing that base with his Fiends.
Moon with some pretty good roaming is continuing to creep up on the map here, using these Fiends to basically stalk the brutes. Are we going to have another engage here? Moon with a very injured brute. It seems like Mana has a little bit more HP, even some white health there on top of those units. So Moon instead just going to continue to ignore
Soul
this.
Forge Ascendants.
Try to get that, but a good move there by Moon. He actually gets his own Fiends out.
That's right. Very, very nice. And in fact, the Fiends, he's body blocking so well. You can see those Warcraft 3 World Championships.
Мне нравится, что ты столько здесь много баз можно сделать на одной карте. Полкарты можно сразу построить.
Moon's going to loop around over here. He could hit this base. It seems to be fairly undefended. You know, Brutes, as they move on the map, they're not that fast. So if you get out of position and your opponent is going to be hammering one of your bases, you can see with Fiends doing so much more damage, Moon is going to come in here and try to take this out as quickly as possible. He is targeting down the Shrine. Is he going to get it in time?
Oh my gosh, I think he is. That is some great killer instinct coming out of Moon. So the Shrine goes down. That's going to be one less base. Tries to get in with the Magmadon, actually stopping his Fiends, and only a few will escape. So he definitely traded a lot of units there. But to kill off a base of mana, it feels like it was worth it.
I think it was definitely worth it. You got to remember that unless you're going to commit with Fiends,
here he goes. Here comes more units too.
You don't have a lot of counterattacking opportunities. It's interesting in an RTS game. You know, when do you want to target down a building and all in on that versus when you want to trade out to fight? It's cool to see Moon in that moment. He decides, no, you want to go for the Shrine.
Vision
first.
Camp level 2.
Yeah.
I still don't understand what it's going to do.
I find this kind of interesting. Tell me what you think, Tasteless. But the Magmadon's coming out here for Mana's side. You know, obviously they don't have a lot to do with Fiends. They do have that stun, which is nice. But when you're building them, you're not building Brutes.
Right. And we're going to see what role that's going to play as eventually these two armies are going to collide. Mana in a game of catch-up here. I liked earlier on, we saw his Magmadon tear through the trees to try to get a nice pathway there from the main base to the third base. But this entire game, thematically, it's really been Moon on the offense. Mana's never really had a real opportunity.
Magmadons are really strong. Эти Магмаданы очень сильные такие юниты здесь. Ох, столько их взял здесь. Много-много.
It really does seem that way. And now he even has a lot of gaunts with his army, which means Moon is going to be able to go ahead and infest some of these units, which, of course, when they die, you're going to get more Fiends. And this is that kind of snowballing effect that we've been talking about. That's kind of what you're aiming for with these mass Fiend plays.
The game quiets down for a little bit here, as we're seeing Moon really gather up a pretty insane.
Вот этот летающий юнит, он вообще даже на карте не сделан. Нет у него дизайна вообще.
I don't think the Fiend is going to be able to deny that in time. Oh, in fact, it is. Meanwhile, it looks like we have an ambush over here.
Wow, this is going to be a big fight.
Oh, that's a lot of Magmadons right there. Fiends coming up to help out.
Charged into nothing.
Come from the north. And you can see some great micro right now. He's utilizing those gaunts up at the top of the battle, trying to get those additional kills, trying to get those additional Fiends, and it looks like he's going to start to run Mana over, who has to retreat.
And you can see that the chain stunning there from the Magmadons is really working out.
There you go, full send.
He's chasing him all the way back to where we saw the action start at the beginning of this game. The question now is he going to try to press it and do more damage? Looks like he's going to go for the Shrine.
Yeah, he's coming up right now, trying to get something done here, splitting off into more and more Fiends at the moment. This is just huge here from Moon.
It's a lot of pressure here from Mana, and I don't know that he can stop either this push over here at the front, but more importantly, all of these Fiends taking out his workers back here.
This is a big problem. This Shrine going to end up falling. Moon in complete control of this game. Yeah, and there you have it.
There we go. Good job. That was well done, dude.
Wow. That was something else, Artos. It's crazy to see
well done.
What an action-packed game that was from start to finish. Well, we're going to be going into Game 2 in a second here. It was interesting to see that map play out. You know, the fast expanding plays, the development, how everything went down. But we're going to be going into that next map in a second here. It is, I think, loser picks. Is that correct, Artos?
Yes, that is correct.
Тот, кто проигрывает, выбирает карту, на которой они будут играть.
Down that first game, and well, we'll see what Mana has to try to come back.
Yeah. Now, Moon really hindered Mana early on. I think there were some moments where maybe Mana could have come back, but after getting crippled early on, we then saw Moon be very decisive. He saw that third base. He knew he could come in there and crush that. It seems like currently the way that this mirror matchup is operating, if you're able to dive in and really commit and do damage, it's hard to have a counterattack with the fact that Brutes are so slow. And, of course, Fiends are impermanent if they're not, on their own shroud there. So really interested to see the meta kind of develop.
Yeah, I think that's one of the more interesting things. It's like, okay, well, these are really fast. They're good at dealing damage, but when they're out on the other side of the map, there's a clock
Lots of
on
people
them.
there right now.
So if you make that hard decision to make your brutes into fiends, well, you got to make it work for you, and Moon definitely did that game.
So we're just waiting to go into game 2 right now. It is a best of 3, just to remind everybody. Fingers crossed that Mana can win one. I think it was an interesting close match there. It's just Moon knows how to accumulate that lead over time.
Yeah, Moon is more of a Warcraft player, so he's probably going to know how to play this game better than StarCraft. This game leaning more into this Warcraft than StarCraft.
Stormgate competitive match.
I know.
Китаец играл в Warcraft все время, он намного лучше, наверное, сможет играть в эту игру.
Okay, so we actually just got an update, guys. It turns out that they mislabeled the colors on the overlay there, and actually that was Mana. Every time we said Moon, that was Mana. Every time we said Mana, that was Moon.
Oh, that makes sense, because we saw the GG first on one side. So everything that you saw back there, flip the player. So that was Mana that came in there with the pressure onto Moon, did the damage. That was Mana that came in, did the fiends, and hit the third base. So a little bit of a mistake there on our overlay.
Oh, boy. Never mind on that. I guess Moon lost.
Okay, so this is crazy. Let's update this. Mana up 1-0.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Moon really
они перепутали цвета.
Like Mana really had a great idea of what he was trying to do throughout that game.
Короче, Mana выиграл, не Moon выиграл.
More than Moon, but you know, Moon's still looking very strong.
Yeah.
Они сказали, что китаец был другого цвета. Они перепутали цвета. Oh, lol. Oh boy, big fail, big fail.
It really does build up over time. So what would Moon want to do here for maps? We already
Press
saw
F in chat.
Games here with Jag and Maw, you know, with the catapult pushes and how that panned out. We do still have one more map remaining here. Let me check my notes. Is that...
Yeah, Titan's Causeway, I don't believe we played
That's right, Titan's Causeway. That's an interesting map in that it's a little bit tricky to get a natural...
Gonna be playing on a new map, too.
Base, up and running more easily because it's such a wide area to defend. But so far in the 3 games of Stormgate that we've had here today, it's been a lot of fast expand plays.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case.
I'm excited to play this game. I can't wait, dude. Next month is gonna be fun when they gotta start giving out the keys.
Really make them pay off enough compared to getting that expansion up, getting a slightly stronger army, and then going across for an attack.
All right. Well, we're still waiting to see what game.
Yeah, definitely can't wait.
It's going to be. It is packed down here at DreamHack. What's up, everybody? It's so exciting.
Hopefully the beta is going to be a lot longer than what they had, and we're going to be able to actually play a lot longer time, and with more units.
It's a genre that really ages like a fine wine.
We'll
see. The more we know about it, the more we learn, the more there is that you can do. And we're ready now to go into game 2.
There we go, game 2.
Right now, Mana up 1-0.
All right. So this game, making extra sure that we have this on the right side. The purple player in.
Now they got the colors right.
That's going to be Moon.
It was completely screwed up the last game. They finally got them right.
That's going to be Mana.
That's going to be Mana.
That's Mana.
We're safe. It's good. We're getting this
No, oh, big fail, dude. Big fail.
That overlay correct.
And in the top right over here, hoping to win this and come back 2-0
so
here.
That's going to be Moon.
Warcraft 3 fans out there. It is
so
Moon.
Purple is Mana. Oh, boy.
Okay.
That's just unfortunate.
We had fast expands in game 1 in the first mirror matchup ever.
Wow, he's going straight for the next.
The same thing again.
He's going right into the next base. That's interesting.
Very fast expansions. No real way to.
I think that's what's going to make a big difference.
You know, we saw in the previous match against TLO because the Vanguard
Класса
start with
класс?
the
Не, не
scout
пьют.
unit, they can go across the map. They can deal
класса.
some damage.
Right.
Here, that's not the same case with the Infernal, right? So you can just kind of expand right away, get into your production facilities.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have a lot of quick base building right away from the start. That's interesting. Putting another HQ, usually HQ is not available until late in the game.
Steering our knowledge of the game, where they place the first few buildings. It seems like In the bottom left here, we've got
It's very interesting.
Just like he did.
Man, look at the design. I like that.
Somewhat of a wall.
Oh, so he sacrificed him. So one of the units. So it's like Zerg's, yeah.
Where his structures are.
Like Zerg, basically the shrimp sacrifices itself and changing itself into a building. That's pretty cool.
He's doing that, what his thought process is for those buildings. It feels like Mana's might be a little bit better for blocking things, but they're doing basically
прямо как Зерги, эти харвестеры, они же себя превращаются в здания здесь. Нормально. Слушай, ты мне напомнил на квасе, я теперь квас хочу. Моя жена, ей не нравится квас. Она попробовала, когда мы ездили в гости домой. Да. Холодный квас летом. Нормально было.
Really hard to say now. 3 brutes coming out from the side of Moon. Looks like he wants to go ahead, clear some of the camps here. And, you know, this is secluded grove, by the way. I'm not sure if we were talking about that too much earlier. Obviously, the last game had a lot of action, a lot of attacking nonstop there from Mana. But I wonder if this map could slow it down.
Come on, Moon, you gotta win this.
Bases are so strong.
Absolutely. We got the brutes now roaming. Nobody committing to the other
health
side of the
camp
map just yet. And it looks like Moon going to go here for the health camp. Now, when you kill this, you then are able to start to regen health. You have to occupy this area for now.
Да, не знаю, как я думаю насчет этого кемпа.
Carry on with you. And we have, I believe that's an imp headed up here, northbound.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like we're probably going to get another
Эти импы — это и твои строительные и харвестеры твои.
Up as quickly as possible. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar from Moon as well.
Now, we've got the first attack coming in up here. Some real pressure over here onto Moon's Shrine. Is there going to be any way to defend? Where's the rest of his armies? Beautiful surround over there. Really nicely done by Mana. Oh my god, this is kind of a base trade situation, Artosis. They're both just going to be going at each other.
Yeah, it does look that way. Now, we have a lot of imps coming down to try to help to hold this on. In the meantime, this counterattack from Moon coming in. It's a little bit later, so it feels like Mana has the advantage.
Yeah, well, you know, he's certainly going to have, you know, the lead as far as the damage coming out, and that means that you're going to be able to deny the workers from mining earlier, which means you can slow them down. There's no way to warp back at home right now here for Moon, so, I mean, this could spiral out of control, but let's find out.
Well, it's a real possibility. He is eventually getting rid of these brutes. You can see that Moon is actually doing a reasonable job over here as well. He will
not too
micro
bad.
back a little bit, a couple more brutes coming out. And, of course, with those fiends, there's no real chance for his brutes to do much more.
They like jump, too.
Try to come in here from Mana, just to try to slow down any mining here from Moon. We've got the Hellhawks coming out here, but they're not going to last that long.
Yeah, you know, definitely helpful as far as defense goes, adding into that defender's advantage that's so important in RTS games. But at the end of the day, it feels like both sides end up holding reasonably well.
The third base is being taken here, as we're seeing Mana, as far as growth goes, shoot up to the north on his side of the map. We need to see how Moon can possibly try to come back and balance this out. And look at the denial here. Great instinct. He's going to get the imp, but more importantly, deny the third base. And, you know, if you're getting that many more resources over time from that third base, it's undeniable that there's not a lot that Moon's going to be able to do to recover that. So Mana with some really good control play, but look at this counterattack here from Moon.
Oh, man. Very, very nice. We dropped down to just 5 workers on the Luminite in that base for Mana. So a little bit of a problem. Definitely needs to get more imps out to get that economy back online.
So,
yeah, here comes those
fiends.
fiends.
Going to be hit over here by Moon. Just doing whatever he can on that side of the map to, you know, stay active. And when you're denying that vision, it's going to make things more ambiguous there from the perspective, excuse me, of Mana.
Неужели нет в магазине? Не, нету в магазинах. Только если поедем в большой городе, можно найти русский магазин. Далеко.
It really is a balancing act here for Infernal of when do you want to commit to an area, give the brute up to have the fiend there temporarily.
Oh, I think Moon might win this one. Looks like he's expanding a lot more.
For a longer period of time, and then using that to have more explosive power at a moment that might swing the game.
Yeah, and one thing I find interesting as well is the
too many lines,
time,
man.
Right? We've seen
I don't know if that's
Trying a
necessary
couple
to
times,
be able
but
to see
getting
that stuff.
denied because Mana is keeping so much aggression on. But Mana's actually the one that's been expanding a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and you know, with the third base coming down now for Moon, this seems like a really ample opportunity here for Mana to come in. He's got his brutes, he's got his gaunts. We've got Moon coming up here to try to meet and defend this. There's no shroud here, so there's no defender's advantage. Mana gonna fraction some of those fiends off to try to body block these brutes.
Oh, look at that. He's trying to back up with the brutes. Let's see if he actually has enough here. I think the gaunts making a huge difference.
Oh,
man, a gigantic infest does end up going down there, but it feels like Moon
you can
doesn't
infest
have enough
units as well. When
when
the units are infested, they turn into fiends, and when they die.
We're going to see the farm go down. And look, with no third base in the picture, what exactly can Moon do? Now, the Theorem mining area here, he can come in here.
He's
and
attacking.
He doesn't have to commit in here if he doesn't want to, but he's buying more and more of a lead.
And with that third base up and mining, this feels like it's going to be really hard for Moon to come back. He's playing with basically the same units. Comes forward right now. His Shroud Stone taking huge amounts of damage. The Shroud Stone will be picked off, so less static D available for Moon at his base.
Yeah, Moon really in a lot of trouble here. The question is Mana perhaps overcommitting? That's one way that Moon could end up coming back into this. It seems like he's doing a pretty decent job, but as more fiends come in here and begin to hit these brutes,
буду ли я стримить StarCraft 2? Да, думаю, буду. Да, я еще просто не сделал видео насчет StarCraft, но будем делать. Будем делать стримы на StarCraft и тоже будем делать насчет Stormgate. We're gonna be streaming StarCraft and Stormgate as well, guys.
Yeah, and you know, with these imps can't mine, there's just not a whole lot else that can be done. We have another infest coming down here right now. The worker's going to be pulled away once more. It looks like what was once a wall in that would have helped to defend is now boxing these units in. They can't get out.
Yeah, he does get
Hey,
back
thanks for the follow, my man. I appreciate it.
Capable of stunning everything, but doesn't feel like that's enough. He needs
Appreciate
more
it,
damage
guys.
output here against the mass
Gonna be
fiends
making a
that
lot
Bond
more
is sent to
videos on Stormgate as well and StarCraft. Pretty much any old strategy games.
Safe as these fiends just come in here and chase them down. The shrine, the greater shrine, is about to be taken out. It's so low, sub 100 HP, and it will go down.
There we go.
Mana getting a smile on his face. He knows this game
Хорошо
is
так
all
убило,
but over
нормально.
right now. Moon struggling.
Mana выиграет,
Trying to
наверное,
come
второй
back,
тут уже.
but the
Да,
gaunts are
Mana
looking
выиграет.
really strong. Those ranged attacks, hard to really micro against here for Moon with less units.
And we're seeing Mana's units spill.
Эти ганты юниты, они очень сильные. These gaunt units are very strong.
Producing these magmadons, these brutes, and it looks like they're going to be.
They throw like a boomerangs that ricochet from one unit to another.
We have more and more fiends continuing to join the battle
It's pretty
onto
good.
Mana's side. And now the last imps are going to have to fight here as well. Mana seconds from victory.
GG! Wow.
Mana going undefeated. Make some noise. He is the Stormgate
That's like
victor here in the first
3
ever
wins.
show match at DreamHack
3 игры
Atlanta.
подряд выиграл. 4 игры
Incredible
подряд
stuff,
выиграл.
Artosis.
Нормально.
Yeah, Mana is such a great legendary gamer. Great results at DreamHack in the past for him, and here at the Stormgate
Wow, look how
Showdown,
many people there.
he is the champion.
Столько людей здесь.
Really cool to see what he was able to pull off here. Able to keep the pressure on his opponent, continue to grow, continue to develop, and then make the comeback an impossibility. We're going to throw it over to the stage now with Rachel to see how Mana's feeling.
Thank you so much. Mana is feeling
Забыл
like
руку
a wonderful and
пожать.
honorable competitor because he ran
Forgot
over
to
give
shake
Moon a
his hand.
handshake right before we hopped into this interview. But now,
Hello.
hello, Mana. Welcome, congratulations, the very first champion of the on-stage major esport that is to be Stormgate. So, tell me, how does it feel?
Amazing feeling, actually. I remember starting my career in StarCraft 2 beta. I enjoyed all the show matches. I always wanted to be like part of like the battle report that we had for StarCraft 2. So now, for the first time to be in the stage for Stormgate, to make history here as a player, and also not only just be part of it, but actually win it all. It's an amazing feeling for sure.
Congratulations, Mana. It is well earned.
Людей
You
немало
talked
пришло
about
на
your
лан-турнир.
history in
Очень
StarCraft
приятно.
before
Да.
this. Tell me how that led to you getting involved into
Я же
Stormgate
это
at such an
говорю.
early
Это
stage.
необычно смотреть столько здесь людей, что
It
когда
definitely
игра
helps
еще
a
даже
lot
не
to
вышла.
get like a lot of multitasking from StarCraft 2. It feels very
Игра не
similar,
выходит
the way that the game plays out.
еще
Yeah,
через
I could
где-то
feel
вот
I was kind of like outmoving that
8
move
месяцев,
here and there,
9
so it
месяцев.
felt quite nice. So,
Нормально.
it
Нормально
feels
на
to be
такое.
like a relatively
Нормально
even
сделали
game here,
турнир.
compared to StarCraft 2. And yeah,
Very
like
surprised
the
to
way
see
that
so
we
many
started
people
it out,
coming
like
so
the
early.
first
The game is not even out yet
then like
until the
layups
summer,
and on.
so.
Like the game is progressing in such a nice state, and it feels like an actual RTS is on the horizon.
Well, and for you to stay
Good
here as
words.
a champion, you talked about making history,
Хорошо
and
сказал.
now at such a high mark. How are you going to top this? You plan on sticking with Stormgate? What's
Nice.
your future look like?
Well, it depends, of course. Like, I will try to play StarCraft 2 and Stormgate at the same time. We will see how the future looks like for the Stormgate tournaments. I will definitely be actively playing the game, testing it, and trying to make it the best game possible. So far, I do enjoy it, but I will obviously still compete in StarCraft 2.
Mama, it is so exciting.
It's good, but not as good as StarCraft.
I would like to invite you now to place down your microphone and hoist for the first time.
Let's go.
Он говорит,
The very
мне
first
нравится игра, но
Stormgate trophy.
мне больше StarCraft нравится. Все еще будет играть в StarCraft. Very nice, dude. Congrats. That was a good game. You did it well.
Congratulations and much respect to Mana and of course Moon and TLO.
See, guys,
who
if
came
you
out
play
and showed us
StarCraft,
an
you're gonna be able to play
incredible
this game with
range
no
of
issues.
Stormgate, and the
Even
game
if
is
you haven't
just
played in a
getting
long
started.
time.
Thank you also to our developers who came out and shared their perspective, their insight. It's been a real treat to get a closer look at
Да, хороший
Stormgate,
стрим был.
and it's been a real treat, Mana, to crown you the champion. So for now, thank you for watching. Stick around for more Stormgate news on their socials, and we'll see you later from DreamHack.
There we go. Let's see what they're gonna say. Сейчас посмотрим, что они скажут. Are they not gonna talk about it at all? Надеюсь, что они будут говорить об игре и об этом матче. Those Fiends attack is pretty good, dude. They're OP. Not bad. What did you guys think? Did you guys like it? What do you think of the game so far? Что думаете о игре? Как нравится, не нравится? What kind of questions you guys might have about the game? Если есть вопросы, ребят, спрашивайте, не стесняйтесь. Я много ресурсов делал, когда видео делал на YouTube, так что я как бы знаю, что будет в игре. Они не слишком много нам сказали об игре еще, так что посмотрим.
Something's missing.
Is it hard to be a lunch icon?
Icon? No, it comes naturally.
That's it. Ugh, lunch icon. Yeah, right.
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, crust.
Uncrustables. Це рекламі. All these commercials. Ooh. 2 more minutes of commercials. Ouch. Что 2 минуты рекламы будет.
History is built on lines we must be willing to cross.
Yeah, so far I'm very excited about this game, guys. Very excited. At least we're gonna be able to. We got at least some more footage of the game, so that's good. Besides the trailers that we have, I mean, yeah.
Kentucky Double Right 200, Imitation Crab, Zebra 60.
That's exactly the same as.
It was hard for me to make YouTube videos and just using stock trailers of the game from their channel, so I'm excited to be able to actually see more units in action. And then next month, hopefully, we're gonna get a key to enter the beta, and we're gonna be able to actually capture our own footage. Hopefully, they're not gonna stop us from sharing it too. So,
why choose between a longer life or quality?
if I'm gonna get extra keys, I gotta give a couple to my friends, and then we're also gonna be doing a giveaway of the beta keys. So stay tuned for that, guys, as well. Hopefully, we can get more information on the game after this commercial break.
And improve or preserve quality of life. Because you shouldn't have to
Будем выдавать ключи для беты на следующем месяце.
abnormal heartbeat, which can lead to death. It can cause serious skin reactions, liver problems, and low white blood cell counts that may result in severe infections. Avoid grapefruit during treatment. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including breathing problems.
These
cough,
commercials
chest
are
pain,
long.
change in your heartbeat, dizziness, yellowing of the skin or eyes, dark urine, tiredness, loss of appetite, abdomen pain, bleeding, bruising, fever, chills, or other symptoms of an infection, a severe or worsening rash, are or plan to become pregnant or breastfeeding. Live longer and live well. Ask about Kisqali. and long live you.
We are back, hopefully. Вернулись. Потеряли 1000 людей. We lost about 1,000 people watching the stream on the official ESL page, so we'll see, guys. Hopefully they're gonna give us some good news to us. They raised $1.5 million on the Kickstarter, guys. That's insane. The game becoming more and more popular, and that's what we want to see. But we got a long time until the release. I'm curious to see who, like, what other celebrities they got to voice other characters. So we shall see. I mean, Simu Liu is pretty good. I liked him in Shang-Chi movies. I mean, he can't be the only one, right? I'm sure they got more people than that. There. I don't think they're done, are they? What is everybody saying in chat? They're focusing on the core mechanics of the game. Is the programming myself? Blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, guys, don't be turned off by the art style of the game. Yeah, give it some time. StarCraft 2 looked like shit too when it first came out and they were doing the closed beta. Everybody complaining about how it looked too dark and everything else, but of course they're gonna update all that stuff as they go, so we'll see. I really like this comment. They say, the fact that some people are developing RTS in 2023 is a miracle by itself. Yeah, that's nice to see people actually making more games like that. We need more RTS games. Definitely need more, guys. Они говорят в чате здесь, да, я удивлен, что они еще делают стратегии в 23-м году. Did you see any bugs during the gameplay? You know, that's actually interesting. I haven't seen any bugs really, but I mean, I guess we won't know until we're gonna play next month, so we'll see. Да, я не слишком видел много багов здесь в игре. Интересно. How long is this break? Holy. Не знаю, как долго будет этот брейк их ней. Да здесь много людей все еще смотрят. Ну, как говорится, я самый маленький канал, я сейчас смотрю на их странички здесь, я в самом конце я сижу. Здесь 10 других людей, они все показывают, но они все же эти StarCraft игроки. Так что у меня конкуренции здесь много. There's so many channels right now that are showing up on the Twitch page, and I'm at the very bottom of it. It's okay. We got room to grow. We're pretty new to this whole streaming thing. Looks like they're saying that we gave 20 beta kits away to viewers. Really? $20 beta keys for like what? 4,000 viewers? That's insane, dude. Они только дали 20 ключей. Yeah, that's not a lot of keys at all. Yeah, that's crazy. Are they done or what? What are they doing? Oh, is it ended? All right, I guess that's it. Well, guys, I guess that's it. They said that they're coming back for a break, but I guess not. It's still saying that it's going. Yeah, it looks like we got, those are the 2 matches that we got, and that's about it. Well, yeah, that's it. Well, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. If you tuned in, thank you for stopping by, saying hi. And we're going to be covering it. I'm going to make another video on YouTube as well for this. And we're going to go over what we know so far about the game and what the information they gave us at the beginning of the game. So sorry that we didn't make it to the stream, or especially early on. But yeah, stay tuned for more on YouTube as well. We're going to be making a lot more videos covering Stormgate and some StarCraft streams as well. Спасибо, ребята, что вы остановились, сказали привет и за подписку. Очень приятно, ребят. All right, guys. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much. See ya.